At breakfast, my wife threw coffee on my face when I refused to give my credit card to some asshole named Ethan. Yeah, you heard it right. Hot, steaming coffee splashed right across my face, burning my skin and staining my favorite white shirt. The kitchen echoed with the shrill clang of the shattered cup on the tile floor, but the sting of betrayal was way sharper than the scalding liquid soaking into my pores. God damn it, Olivia! I roared, wiping my face frantically with a towel. Have you lost your mind? Her icy blue eyes narrowed with contempt, lips curled into that smug sneer I'd grown to hate. Give me the damn card, Caleb. Or is being pathetic your new hobby? My chest heaved. Who the hell is Ethan? She laughed bitterly, flipping her silky blonde hair as if I were the dumbest creature to ever walk the earth. None of your damn business. It hit me then, the late nights, the sudden lingerie purchases that never ended up in our bedroom, her sudden, cold indifference. Olivia was cheating, and she wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. My heart thumped erratically. You're having an affair. She paused, mouth slightly open, eyes widening for a fraction of a second, just enough to confirm my accusation. Then, with a casual shrug, she sneered, and what if I am? It's not like you could satisfy me anyway. Her words sliced deeper than any blade could. My pulse hammered in my ears, anger boiling into humiliation. I'd spent months working late shifts, bending backward to pay for her designer handbags, spa retreats, and whatever else she demanded. But this was the ultimate slap in the face. You ungrateful, I choked, unable to find words strong enough. Oh, spare me the sob story, Olivia snapped, rolling her eyes. You're boring, Caleb. Ethan actually makes me feel alive. I couldn't breathe. Rage and disbelief wrestled inside me, making my vision blur. I stormed out of the kitchen, slamming my fist into the drywall hard enough to dent it. Pain shot up my arm, but I barely registered it. My marriage, my life, was crumbling apart, and Olivia didn't care. Locked inside our bedroom, I paced furiously, thoughts racing, fists clenching and unclenching. How had I missed the signs? Olivia had always been spoiled and impulsive, but I'd convinced myself that deep down, she loved me. But maybe I'd always been lying to myself. Hours passed. I stared blankly at the ceiling, reliving every moment that had led to this. Olivia's endless lies flashed through my mind. I'm working late, it's just dinner with friends, you're paranoid, Caleb. Every word had been a calculated move, every excuse a dagger hidden in silk. The phone vibrated on the dresser. Olivia's screen lit up. Curiosity and anger drove me to snatch it. My stomach twisted painfully as I read the message. Baby, did you get the money from your loser husband yet? Ethan, hugs and kisses. Nausea burned my throat. Olivia wasn't just cheating, she was funding her affair with my hard-earned money. Enough was enough. I walked out of the bedroom, heart pounding, determination coursing through me. Olivia lounged casually on the sofa, manicured fingers tapping impatiently on the coffee table. She glanced up, a mocking smirk spreading across her painted lips. Ready to apologize and hand over the card, or do you want another coffee shower? She sneered. I shook my head slowly, the truth finally sinking in deep. You're unbelievable, Olivia. She tilted her head arrogantly. And you're pathetic. You should feel lucky I even stayed this long. Her cruel laughter filled the room as I stood motionless, absorbing her absolute disregard for my dignity. Right then, I knew my marriage was over, but Olivia wasn't done playing her sick game. The front door swung open violently, shattering the tension. In marched Ethan, tall, muscular, arrogance dripping from every pore. He flashed a cocky grin, winking at Olivia before facing me with mocking pity. So, you're Caleb. No wonder she's bored. I lunged forward instinctively, fury overwhelming logic. But before I could get close, Ethan swung, his fist connecting with my jaw. Pain exploded as I fell backward, tasting blood. "You're weak," Olivia hissed, stepping over me to wrap her arms around Ethan's neck. "I'm done with you." Lying on the cold hardwood floor, face throbbing and ego shattered, I knew this was rock bottom. Olivia had not only betrayed me, she'd crushed my pride beneath her designer heels. As they left laughing, leaving me sprawled alone and broken, a strange clarity took over. This humiliation was exactly what I needed, a wake-up call. Olivia had revealed herself as the heartless, manipulative bitch she truly was. But one thing was certain, I wouldn't be her victim anymore. I dragged myself off the floor, every muscle aching, my jaw throbbing like I'd been hit by a train. My reflection in the hallway mirror stopped me cold, blood trickled from a split lip, my eyes swollen with humiliation. I barely recognized the broken man staring back. Was this what I'd become? Olivia's punching bag, emotionally and physically? Hell no. Anger surged through my veins, igniting a fire I thought had died years ago. I stormed into the bedroom, grabbing a suitcase from the closet and stuffing clothes inside. Shirts, pants, socks, it didn't matter what I grabbed, as long as it took me away from here. Away from Olivia, her lies, her scumbag boyfriend, and this toxic wreck we called a marriage. But my frantic packing paused when I noticed the corner of Olivia's laptop peeking out from under her pillow. She'd always been careless. Without hesitation, I opened it up, praying she'd left it unlocked. She had. My heart hammered as I clicked through her messages, feeling sicker with each one. Message after message revealed the depth of her betrayal. "Caleb's clueless. I'm milking him dry. I'll meet you at the hotel after the idiot gives me the money. Can't wait to be with you again. Caleb makes me want to puke." Each word hit me harder than Ethan's fist. I'd trusted her, believed every damn lie, and she was laughing at me behind my back. Olivia wasn't just having an affair, she was using me to bankroll her betrayal. I slammed the laptop shut, shaking with rage. This wasn't just heartbreak, it was pure fury, mixed with a sharp, undeniable clarity. Olivia had played her cards openly, convinced I'd never do anything about it. Well, she'd seriously underestimated me. Suddenly, the front door opened again. I quickly closed the laptop, hiding it back under the pillow. Olivia strode back in alone, her eyes flicking dismissively over me, a mocking grin on her face. "Forgot something, did you?" I snapped bitterly. "Yeah," she said, casually, strolling past as if nothing happened. "My laptop." I felt adrenaline surge, anger replacing my shame. "It's funny you should mention that," I said coldly, blocking her way to the bedroom door. "Found some interesting reading." Her eyes widened momentarily before narrowing sharply. "You went through my stuff? You really are pathetic." "Your little secret's out," I said, my voice cold and even despite the storm inside. "I saw your messages." "How long, Olivia? How long have you been laughing behind my back?" She paused, for the first time genuinely caught off guard. But the hesitation quickly vanished, replaced by her usual venomous self-assurance. "Long enough to know you were too weak to ever notice. Did you really think I'd stay loyal to someone who bores me to tears?" "You're sick," I growled, disgust churning in my gut. "You've drained me for every penny, lied through your teeth, and humiliated me, and you think I'm the pathetic one?" She shrugged coldly, turning to face me with pure disdain. "Grow up, Caleb. Marriages end all the time. Don't blame me because you weren't man enough to hold on to your wife." Her words echoed brutally in my ears, shredding the last scraps of dignity I had left. The smug arrogance on her face told me everything I needed to know. She had zero remorse. She was proud of the pain she'd caused, reveling in it like some sick victory. Rage surged through me. "You used me, Olivia. You made me a fool. No, she smirked, eyes narrowed in vicious pleasure, you did that all on your own. I felt myself trembling with barely controlled anger, fists clenched, breathing ragged. But I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of seeing me break again. Not this time. Fine, I said quietly, looking her dead in the eye. If that's how you want it, have Ethan. Enjoy your empty life. I deserve better. She laughed bitterly. Who's going to want you now, Caleb? You're nothing. I ignored her words, turning away to finish packing my bag. My decision was final, and every ounce of hurt I felt was rapidly turning into resolve. I was done being Olivia's emotional punching bag. I was done letting her define my worth. As I zipped my suitcase shut, Olivia stood watching, arms crossed with that superior smirk of hers. You'll regret this, she sneered mockingly. You'll come crawling back. I met her eyes without hesitation, the fire in mine matching her icy arrogance. No. The only thing I'll ever regret is the years I wasted on you. She laughed again, sharp and cruel. Whatever you say, Caleb. Good luck out there. You'll need it. Without another glance, I stormed out, slamming the door hard enough to shake the frame. The crisp air outside hit my face, stinging the cuts and bruises, but clearing my mind instantly. I didn't know where I'd go or what I'd do next, but one thing was certain, I wasn't coming back here. Walking down the driveway to my truck, each step felt heavy yet strangely freeing. The past, filled with lies, betrayals, and endless pain, was now behind me. My entire life had just imploded, but maybe, just maybe, it needed to. Sliding behind the wheel, I started the engine, hands gripping tightly as the anger slowly melted into a bitter clarity. Olivia thought she'd won, thought she'd crushed me beneath her heel, but she'd underestimated one crucial thing. You can't break a man who no longer has anything left to lose. I drove aimlessly through the dark streets, streetlights flickering above like broken promises. My mind raced as I replayed Olivia's heartless words, each syllable burning hotter than the coffee she'd thrown. She'd mocked my manhood, torn apart my dignity, and made a fool of the vows we took. Each street lamp I passed illuminated more clearly the scale of my betrayal, years of trust crushed under the weight of deceit. Finally, I pulled into a quiet motel parking lot, illuminated by a flickering neon sign promising vacancy. As I sat in the darkness of my car, alone and utterly humiliated, anger surged through me again. My phone buzzed, messages from Olivia lit up the screen, each more toxic than the last. You'll be back by morning begging for forgiveness. You've always been weak, Caleb. You think anyone else would put up with your pathetic excuses? Her spiteful words twisted my stomach, but this time, I knew better than to respond. She thrived on tormenting me, and silence was the only power I had left. Grabbing my suitcase, I headed inside, greeted by stale cigarette smoke and the indifferent stare of a clerk who'd seen too much heartbreak pass through his doors. The room was grim, stained carpets, dim lighting, and the heavy scent of disappointment, but compared to home, it felt like a sanctuary. I collapsed onto the bed, letting exhaustion claim me. But sleep never came. Instead, my mind replayed Olivia's cruel laughter, her mocking tone as she'd thrown my failures in my face. Every detail now felt glaringly obvious, the secretive texts, new perfume, frequent late-night showers. How had I been so blind? Was it denial, or was I simply too afraid to see the truth? Hours passed as my mind raced uncontrollably. Just as dawn crept through the worn curtains, my phone vibrated again. I flinched, half expecting more venom from Olivia, but instead saw a text from my friend Mike. Hey, you okay? Olivia's posting pics online with some guy. Thought you should know. My stomach lurched as I opened the attached screenshot. Olivia, smirking seductively, her arms wrapped around Ethan in some fancy nightclub, posted less than an hour after I left. Her caption read simply, "Finally free." something snapped inside me. All the hurt, humiliation, and rage that had simmered beneath the surface erupted, boiling over. I knew I couldn't let her disrespect me like this, not without a fight. Olivia might think she'd won, but she had made a massive mistake by underestimating just how far a man with nothing left to lose would go. Fueled by determination, I started researching Ethan, digging through social media, public records, and anything else I could find. I learned quickly he was a small-time music producer, arrogant, flashy, and drowning in debt. He saw Olivia as his ticket out, unaware she was equally shallow and manipulative. Then it struck me, I wasn't going to confront Olivia head-on anymore. Instead, I'd expose their game, stripping them both of their masks in front of everyone who admired or respected them. If Olivia wanted attention, she'd get it, more than she ever bargained for. That night, armed with evidence, screenshots, and all the vicious messages Olivia had carelessly left behind, I began meticulously assembling the truth. My anger turned icy cold, focused, strategic. For the first time in years, I felt fully in control. As I pieced together the humiliating puzzle of their affair, photos, texts, emails, I felt detached, clinical even. This was no longer about revenge or petty anger. This was about justice, taking back my dignity from a woman who'd trampled on it without remorse. My phone rang again, this time Olivia's name flashing across the screen. She must have noticed my silence, my absence, and felt threatened by it. I answered calmly, devoid of any emotion. "What do you want?" Her voice was shrill, demanding as always. "I noticed you took your things." "Running away like a coward?" "Hardly," I replied evenly. "Just getting started, actually." A brief silence hung in the air. Then she laughed, mocking me as usual. "Please, Caleb, you're pathetic. Who are you kidding? You can't even handle your own wife." I smiled coldly, feeling strangely liberated. "You're right, Olivia. I didn't handle you. But maybe everyone else will appreciate your talents as much as Ethan does." "What's that supposed to mean?" she snapped sharply, suspicion now edging into her voice. "You'll see soon enough," I said, hanging up before she could reply. A newfound strength surged through me, overshadowing the pain. Olivia had underestimated me again, mistaking silence for weakness. But silence was my weapon, one I intended to wield until the perfect moment. Lying back on the uncomfortable motel bed, my heart steadied. I no longer felt powerless or broken. Instead, clarity filled my mind, sharpening my senses. The game had changed. Olivia might have dealt the first blow, but I'd make sure to deliver the last. As morning broke, I rose from the bed, prepared to face the world again, knowing exactly what I needed to do. Olivia might have fired the first shot, but I'd finished the war. First thing in the morning, fueled by pure determination, I drove back into town. I knew exactly where to hit Olivia and Ethan where it hurt, their precious social image. Olivia always thrived on being the center of attention, constantly chasing validation from shallow Instagram likes and endless fake friendships. Destroying her perfectly curated life was the only way to make her feel the humiliation she had forced upon me. But first, I needed answers. Who exactly was Ethan, other than a cocky prick in designer clothes who stole my wife right under my nose? I called my best friend, Jake, the only person who knew everything about my marriage and wouldn't judge me. He answered immediately, sensing urgency. "What's going on, Caleb?" I swallowed hard, bitterness coating my voice. "Olivia's cheating on me with some asshole named Ethan." "You heard of him?" Jake sighed deeply. "Ethan Hart?" "Yeah, he's that sleazy music producer, pretends to be richer than he is. He's all flash and no substance. Known for preying on bored wives." It stung hearing Jake say that aloud, but I knew it had to be said. "You knew?" Jake hesitated. "I heard rumors, but honestly, Caleb, I didn't want to say anything without proof. Olivia's always been difficult. Difficult? I scoffed. She's beyond that, Jake. She threw coffee in my face this morning because I wouldn't give her my credit card for him. She's literally flaunting the affair in my face. Jesus, Jake muttered angrily, shock evident in his voice. You've gotta leave her, man. You deserve better. I know, I replied coldly. But first, I'm taking them down. Jake paused. Tell me what you need. I'm with you. Within an hour, we met at a small cafe. I slid Olivia's laptop in front of Jake, watching his expression darken as he scrolled through their explicit conversations. His jaw clenched tightly, anger radiating from every muscle. This is sick, man. She played you like a fool, he spat. She really thinks she can humiliate you publicly without consequences. I nodded grimly. Exactly why we need to expose them, publicly, brutally, no mercy. Jake leaned in, lowering his voice. I looked into Ethan's finances. He's neck-deep in loans, gambling debts, you name it. Olivia's probably funding his whole lifestyle with your money. Hearing this twisted the knife deeper. So, Ethan's just using her? Jake shrugged, almost amused. They're perfect for each other. Both selfish, shallow, and manipulative. I took a deep breath. As the anger faded slightly, I felt something more profound, clarity. Olivia was poison, and Ethan was just the latest symptom. But now I saw the truth behind her shiny facade. Olivia wasn't the perfect woman she'd pretended to be, and Ethan wasn't the impressive alpha she believed he was. What's your plan, Caleb? Jake finally asked. Exposure, I said without hesitation. I'm done playing nice. They've humiliated me, lied to me, disrespected me publicly, now it's their turn. Jake nodded solemnly. Whatever it takes, man. My phone vibrated violently on the table. Olivia's name appeared again, the screen lighting up ominously. Ignoring it wasn't an option anymore, I was ready. Yes, Olivia? I answered calmly, keeping my voice steady. Her voice dripped with venomous sweetness. Caleb, sweetheart, let's talk. Meet me for lunch, just you and me. Suspicion burned in my gut. Olivia never apologized. Never asked politely. She was plotting something. But curiosity, mixed with anger, drove me to accept. Fine, I replied, voice steady. But just us, no Ethan. Her laugh was mocking, cold, dismissive. Of course. I'll send you the location. When I hung up, Jake shook his head in disbelief. You sure about this? I need to hear what lies she spins this time. Trust me, I won't fall for her tricks twice. Hours later, I sat in a dimly lit upscale restaurant, waiting impatiently. Olivia strutted in, confidence dripping from every move, clearly enjoying the attention her entrance drew. She slid gracefully into the seat opposite me, crossing her legs and smiling sweetly, as if nothing had happened. Caleb, honey, she cooed, reaching for my hand across the table. I recoiled, disgusted. Cut the act, Olivia. What do you want? She feigned hurt, pouting dramatically. Can't we talk like civilized adults? Cut the crap, I hissed quietly. What do you really want? Her smile faded into a calculating glare. All right, I'll get straight to the point. Ethan and I have plans. Ambitious ones. We just need your cooperation. Cooperation? I spat. You betrayed me, humiliated me publicly, and now you want my help? Olivia leaned in, her voice dangerously low. Let's make this simple. Give me access to our accounts, give me a quiet divorce, and I won't ruin your life any further. My stomach churned. You're threatening me now? Consider it incentive, she sneered, eyes glittering wickedly. If you make this messy, I promise you'll regret it. Something cold settled in my chest. Olivia wasn't just a liar and cheater, she was pure venom, determined to bleed me dry, emotionally and financially. But I wasn't the same man she'd destroyed over breakfast. Sorry, Olivia, I said calmly, leaning forward until our faces were inches apart. You started this war. And I promise you, I'll finish it. Her eyes widened in shock, lips parting slightly. For the first time ever, she saw a man she couldn't control. As I left the restaurant, adrenaline flooded my veins. Olivia had no idea what she'd unleashed. Her games had pushed me to the edge, but now, standing on the brink, I was finally ready to jump. My pulse thundered as I stepped into the cool evening air, leaving Olivia stunned behind me. I could still feel her poisonous stare drilling into my back, but this time, her anger felt like fuel rather than humiliation. She thought I was weak, easy prey she could keep exploiting. But now, the tables had turned. I wasn't her puppet anymore. Back at the motel, Jake awaited me, nervously pacing by the door. The second I walked inside, he stopped, eyes full of expectation. How'd it go? I exhaled heavily, shaking off the bitter aftertaste of Olivia's latest attempt at manipulation. Worse than I expected. She actually thinks I'll keep bankrolling her twisted fantasy life with Ethan. Jake clenched his fists. She's delusional, man. But we need a clear strategy. They've publicly humiliated you, you need to strike back hard and fast. I agreed completely. But before we could formulate our next move, my phone vibrated again, this time it wasn't Olivia. An unknown number lit up my screen. Hello? I answered cautiously. The voice on the other end was hesitant, female, nervous. Caleb? You don't know me, but I know Olivia, and Ethan. My blood froze instantly. Who are you? My name's Chloe. Ethan's my fiancé, or he was until he met your wife, she said bitterly. Her voice trembled, heavy with hurt. Can we meet? There's more you should know. We arranged a meeting at a quiet cafe outside town. Minutes later, I was sitting opposite a petite brunette whose dark, haunted eyes mirrored my own pain. Chloe, clearly distraught, began unfolding a story that shattered whatever remained of my doubts. Ethan's been cheating on me for months. Olivia wasn't the first, just the latest. She knew about me the entire time, Chloe confessed, her voice breaking. What? Anger flared again, bright and raw. Olivia knew Ethan was engaged and didn't care? Chloe nodded grimly, her eyes full of pain. Your wife encouraged him, Caleb. She told him I'd never matter, that I was weak. They laughed about us behind our backs. She was practically daring him to leave me. My stomach churned violently. The depths of Olivia's cruelty continued to astonish me. She wasn't simply unfaithful, she relished destroying people, enjoying the power it gave her. My fists clenched involuntarily as images of Olivia's smug, heartless face flashed before me again. Why are you telling me this? I asked Chloe carefully. She took a deep breath, steadying herself. Because Ethan's done this before, taken advantage of married women, drained them dry financially, then disappeared. Olivia thinks she's special, but she's just another target. Ethan will ruin her, just like he's ruined others. I laughed darkly. Maybe Olivia deserves him. Maybe, Chloe agreed bitterly, but I'm not interested in seeing either of them walk away untouched. We exchanged knowing glances. It dawned on me, Chloe was my ally, an unexpected partner in this twisted battle. Ethan and Olivia had played their sick games too long, leaving a trail of broken people behind. Now, the tables were turning. Together, Chloe and I devised a careful plan. First, we'd publicly expose Ethan, revealing the tangled web of deceit he'd spun around Olivia, destroying both their carefully constructed facades. Olivia thrived on attention, so we'd give her exactly what she wanted, just not the way she expected. Within days, Chloe had compiled a massive collection of incriminating messages, photos, and videos. Olivia and Ethan had been careless, leaving countless clues scattered across social media, emails, and texts. The evidence was damning, undeniable, and brutally humiliating. Then came the moment to strike. Late on a Friday evening, when everyone was glued to their phones, Chloe and I simultaneously uploaded everything, every secret rendezvous, every deceitful promise, every hurtful remark about their partners. The posts spread rapidly, quickly flooding timelines. The captions were simple yet devastatingly effective. Meet Olivia and Ethan, two people who thought destroying their partners' lives was entertainment. Here's the truth they hoped you'd never see. My phone exploded with notifications, friends, co-workers, even Olivia's family, everyone was seeing the truth. And this time, Olivia couldn't manipulate or lie her way out of it. Minutes later, she called me, her voice shaking with fury. "What the hell did you do, Caleb? You ruined me." "No," I replied coldly, savoring the first taste of satisfaction I'd felt in weeks. "You ruined yourself. I just showed everyone who you really are." "Please," she begged suddenly, desperation breaking through her arrogance for the first time, "take it down. Ethan's furious, my family's seen everything. You've ruined my life." I laughed bitterly. "No, Olivia, you did that all on your own." She sobbed dramatically, her tears no longer affecting me. "I'll never forgive you for this." "Good," I replied calmly. "Because I'll never forgive you either." Ending the call, a profound relief washed over me. Justice had been served, painful, messy, and public, just like her betrayal. But it wasn't happiness I felt, only emptiness. Olivia had taken years of my life, and this revenge wasn't going to magically heal the wounds she'd inflicted. But it was a start. Chloe called moments later, her voice equally strained yet oddly hopeful. "It's done, Caleb. They can't hide anymore." "I know," I said, breathing easier for the first time in days. "But what happens now?" She sighed softly. "Now we both start over. Without them." For the first time since Olivia had thrown coffee in my face, I felt genuine relief. The chaos had finally cleared, leaving behind clarity and hope, something Olivia could never take away from me again. In the weeks after exposing Olivia and Ethan, life shifted in ways I hadn't expected. Olivia's calls and threats eventually faded into silence, replaced by a quiet emptiness that felt both liberating and lonely. The initial rush of revenge subsided, leaving behind a dull ache, a reminder of betrayal that wasn't going away anytime soon. I moved into a small apartment on the opposite side of town, far from our old home and memories that now felt contaminated. The first night alone was brutal, echoes of Olivia's laughter haunted me, mingled with the harsh whispers of self-doubt. Every night, my mind replayed the moments I'd missed, every lie she fed me, every cruel jab she'd casually tossed my way. But gradually, clarity settled in. Alone with my thoughts, I realized the brutal truth: Olivia had never truly loved me. She loved the convenience, the money, the comfortable life I provided, but not me. Her heart belonged to drama, adrenaline, the thrill of deceit, and I had merely been a pawn. One evening, Jake stopped by to check on me, concern etched deep into his face. "How are you holding up?" I shrugged, half smiling. "Honestly? It still hurts, but I feel freer now. Like I'm finally breathing clean air after years underwater." He smiled, genuine relief filling his eyes. "That's good, Caleb. You deserve that." We talked late into the night, rehashing old memories, laughing for the first time in months. Friendship became my anchor, a lifeline back to normalcy. Jake reminded me of who I'd been before Olivia twisted me into someone I barely recognized. That night, after Jake left, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, finally feeling a strange peace wash over me. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, life started making sense again. I moved out of the grim motel, rented a small apartment, and began to rebuild my world from scratch. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine, free from Olivia's toxic influence. Occasionally, I'd run into mutual friends who'd offer sympathetic glances and cautious small talk. I didn't care. I'd learned to embrace the awkwardness because at least now people knew the truth. Olivia's carefully constructed facade had shattered, leaving her exposed for the heartless, manipulative woman she truly was. As for Ethan, his career spiraled spectacularly after the scandal. Clients pulled out, debts piled up, and within weeks, his flashy lifestyle crumbled into bankruptcy. Olivia, predictably, left him as soon as his cash dried up. I wasn't surprised. Without money, Ethan was as worthless to Olivia as I'd become in her eyes. One quiet evening, months after the coffee incident, my phone buzzed. Olivia's name flashed on the screen, shocking me back into alertness. Reluctantly, I answered. "What do you want, Olivia?" I asked flatly. Her voice was small, barely recognizable. "I messed up, Caleb. I ruined everything, I was so stupid." I felt nothing hearing her voice, no anger, no hurt, no satisfaction, just indifference. "You did." She hesitated, clearly uncomfortable with my calm detachment. "I was wrong, okay? I thought Ethan loved me. But he was worse than you." I laughed softly, surprised at how hollow her words sounded. "Worse than me? That's rich coming from someone who treated marriage like a business transaction." "Caleb," she pleaded, desperation seeping through, "can we try again? Give me another chance. I'll change." Her audacity stunned me, but not enough to shake my newfound peace. "Olivia, you haven't changed at all. You're exactly who you've always been, a liar and a cheat. We're done." She started to speak again, desperation evident in her voice, but I ended the call without another word. For the first time since I met her, Olivia no longer held power over me. She was finally out of my system. Sitting alone in my quiet apartment, I thought about how much I'd lost, yet oddly, how much I'd gained. The betrayal, pain, and humiliation had changed me, but it didn't destroy me. Instead, it revealed the strength I never knew existed inside myself. It had forced me to face uncomfortable truths, and through that brutal honesty, I'd become someone new, someone stronger. If I could offer advice to anyone facing similar pain, I'd simply say this: trust your instincts. Don't let someone else's darkness dim your light. Betrayal might break you, but it also reveals who you truly are beneath the wreckage. Looking out the window at the evening sky, stars beginning to appear one by one, I felt peace wash over me. Olivia had been my storm, devastating, destructive, but storms pass. And afterward, if you're lucky, you emerge stronger. I had survived Olivia. I'd walked through the flames of betrayal and emerged scarred but unbroken. And though the wounds might never fully heal, they'd made me wiser, tougher, and finally aware of my worth. Olivia had tried to destroy me, but in the end, she'd only revealed who she truly was, a heartless bitch whose cruelty could no longer touch me. I was free, and that was all that mattered now.